You're listening to 1160 AM KVCE.
The information provided during this broadcast belongs to the show host and is for general informational purposes only. Nothing that is discussed or taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information does not and is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, nor does receipt of or listening to the information provided constitute an attorney-client relationship.
Welcome to the Believers in Business Hour on AM 1160 KVCE. It's time for Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you hope you never need. Stay tuned, get informed, and get educated about your legal rights when you or a loved one have been seriously injured or harmed by the conduct of someone else or at the hands of an insurance company. Brad Parker has focused his law practice exclusively on trial work since becoming licensed in 1985 and is board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. And now, here's Bar Talk with Brad Parker, the attorney you hope you never need.
Thank you. This is Brad Parker with Bar Talk. I'm glad you could join me this evening. I look forward to visiting with you, and I want to encourage everyone to call in and ask any questions that you might have as it pertains to cases that you may have pending or issues that you may have, whether it's a simple car wreck or the loss of a loved one, or maybe dealing with an insurance company. Speaking of insurance companies and bad weather, right now we seem to be having a bunch of that over around this area, and I've just been told that Highway 67 around Cedar Hill is underwater. So if you're out that way, you sure want to stay away from it. Nothing but bad things can happen, and I'm sure traffic will be a nightmare over there right now. As I mentioned a moment ago, if you have some questions, I'd encourage you to call in to 214-787-1160. That's the line here at AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority. I'd like to visit with you about whatever you want to talk about. We're focusing primarily today on personal injury matters. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you should look for when you try to find an attorney. In the second segment, I want to kind of talk to you about some trending issues in the law, specifically mass torts involving low T. Some interesting developments have come out on that. The third segment, I'm going to visit with you about some other issues that have come up and answer some questions of some folks who emailed me over the week last week. And then we'll wind things down in the fourth segment. Again, call in if you can and visit with me at 214-787-1160. I guess the first thing I would like to talk to you about today is why you need to consult with an attorney sooner rather than later. So often I have clients that walk into my office who have suffered a terrible loss or some kind of event in their life, and they've let so much time go by that it's kind of hard to recreate the facts. Oftentimes when people are struck by tragedy, the last thing they want to think about is a lawsuit. Unfortunately, that sometimes needs to be one of the first things they think about, because so often, and especially if you're involved in a trucking accident or some type of a major catastrophe, the evidence is fresh, and it will remain fresh only for so long. Oftentimes, the DPS or other officials will conduct some type of investigation or accident reconstruction, but it may or may not be accurate. It could have overlooked some facts. Oftentimes, we get our accident investigators out almost immediately to survey the scene, interview the police officers, interview the witnesses, and do a number of other things, investigate, look at the truck, be there for the download. There's just so many things. But even in minor car wrecks, there are oftentimes so many things that get lost over time. I'll give you an example. I got called by an attorney down in South Texas who happens to represent a woman who was involved in an automobile accident up here. Fortunately, she's going to be okay, but her injuries required a surgery. They were significant. She was taken to the hospital from the scene, but they'd let about a year and a half click off. The attorney down in South Texas did a great job. He immediately located a witness and interviewed this witness, and then had been trying to negotiate with the insurance company. And as so often is the case, the insurance company kind of pushed him up to the statute of limitations, to the deadline, to see if how serious he was about filing suit on this case. And unfortunately, he had to get in touch with me. We filed suit. The bad news is that now we can't locate the witness. Even though we have a statement, we can't find that witness, and that's going to cause some problems because of the way the intersection collision happened. The police report indicates that it was my client's fault, whereas the witness gave some great testimony, wrote out an affidavit and signed a witness statement and was interviewed. The facts are completely different than what the police officer, who wasn't there. I mean, the police officer was doing his job. He was trying to get it right. But he obviously didn't talk to this woman who actually saw the accident happen. And he just had to rely on the people who hit my client. Since my client was being carted off to the hospital, she wasn't able to give her statement. So it's just another reason why to pin these things down early. Be sure we get all the witnesses that are involved and protect the evidence that exists. Additionally, whenever you hire an attorney early, oftentimes you have numerous medical bills. You have people who are calling you wanting to be paid for the medical services that you have. And we can stop that. We can put a stop to that. We will handle that from that moment forward. Any personal injury attorney will. I often somewhat jokingly mention that half of our job is spent on trying to get the claim resolved. The other half is spent on dealing with medical care givers and other individuals who have their hand out wanting part of the recovery that we ultimately get on behalf of our clients. So it's a complicated process, and the sooner you get an attorney involved and get an attorney started, the better off. But when you shop for an attorney, you should also shop for one that's board certified. There aren't very many board certified attorneys in this state. In fact, I was just pulling up some statistics from the State Bar of Texas website on board certified lawyers. There are a total of approximately 89,000 lawyers in this state. That's incredible to me. That's a lot of lawyers. But of that, about 8,400 are board certified. So less than 10% of all the lawyers practicing in this state are board certified. Now, what does that mean when you're board certified? What it simply means is that you have demonstrated a special competency in a particular area of the law. All lawyers, when they take the bar, are licensed to practice law, and they can practice any kind of law they feel qualified to practice, whether that be maritime law, oil and gas, labor and employment, juvenile, criminal, family, personal injury. But what we do as a profession, if you're board certified, you've shown a special competence in a particular area, have sat for additional testing, have been approved or passed the test, I guess you should say, with your peers and judges as showing a special competence in a particular area. And then you have to maintain a certain degree, a higher degree of CLE or continuing legal education in order to maintain that certification. And one of the interesting things that I knew, but I reaffirmed when I was looking up the information today on the internet through the state bar, is that of the 8,400 attorneys roughly in Texas that are board certified, only 1,600 of those are board certified in personal injury trial law. That means there's less of all the attorneys there are in this state, less than 1.8%. That's less than 2 percentage points are board certified in personal injury trial law. So if and when you have the need for a personal injury trial lawyer, I encourage you to look for one early, as well as to look for someone who is board certified in personal injury trial law. The other issue that you always want to look for is the ability to meet with that attorney, and typically it's going to be for free. Personal injury matters are handled on a contingency fee basis, which means that the attorney does not get paid unless and until there is a recovery actually made. And then typically their contract will be anywhere from 25% to 40%, depending upon the degree and difficulty of the matter. Typically it's around 33 1/3 to 40%. And why this is good is because most people could not afford to pay $350, $400 an hour for an attorney. And by doing a contingency fee, the attorney is paid for his efforts at a little bit of a premium, but he's also, as a client, that he's motivated to do the very best that he possibly can to get the highest and best recovery. Anyone who wants to charge you an hourly fee to handle a personal injury matter, you better go check them out. They're probably not board certified, and they may not be who you're looking for. Again, we're going to go to commercial break. I'm Brad Parker. This is Bar Talk. I encourage you to call in with any of your questions that you may have at 214-787-1160. And we're KVCE AM 1160, Dallas-Fort Worth Business Authority.
The Business Authority, 1160 AM KVCE.
Hi, this is Ken Rakowski from Business Rockstars. We bring you the biggest and brightest stars in the business world. From the up-and-coming established business leaders, you will learn how to start, fund, and grow your business. We make entrepreneurship really easy. You got a question? We have the answer. Don't be left out in the dark. Make sure you listen to Business Rockstars. Join me weekdays at 1 p.m. on 1160 AM KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, Principal Partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. Our firm knows that when you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Give us a call, 817-503-9200, or visit parkerlawfirm.com.
With consumers keeping their vehicles for an average of 10 years, who and what do you trust for the longevity of your car? Hey, Kurt Chase here for K&N Filters. Let's talk 45 years of designing and manufacturing the world's best air filters. Since 1969, K&N has been producing air filters that allow better airflow for better performance while maintaining filtration levels that ensure long engine life. With K&N's million-mile warranty and the Consumer Protection Pledge of 100% satisfaction, enhance the life and performance of your car, truck, SUV, ATV, and watercrafts to K&N Filters. Easy to install, easy to clean with K&N Filters Cleaning and Recharge Kit. Take the long-term investment even longer with K&N Filters. It's the only replacement filter on my car. Make K&N Filters your choice too. Go to knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com. More airflow, better performance, and a million-mile warranty. Go to knfilters.com.
There's no question fish oil is great for your heart and your brain. And there's no question krill oil is incredible to help your joints feel better. The only question is, why aren't you taking both? Well, good news. Now you can with Krill Omega 10X, the ultimate combination of pharmaceutical-grade fish oil amplified by the super antioxidant power of krill. And even better, today you can get a free bottle just simply by calling 1-800-448-KRILL. The Krill Omega 10X secret is that it delivers 10 times the EPA and DHA of regular krill oil. That's why it's going to work for you. Get your free bottle today and experience the benefits for your heart, your brain, your focus, and especially your joints. In fact, our Krill Omega 10X works so well, we guarantee your joints will feel better and more comfortable in just 7 days. That's why we want to send you a free bottle. Call 1-800-448-KRILL. That's 1-800-448-5745. Call now, 1-800-448-KRILL.
It's long, over 1,000 chapters, over 30,000 verses. No wonder so many of us have never read it cover to cover. Want to do it? Want to read the entire Bible? Start today at BibleStudyTools.com. BibleStudyTools.com includes Bible in a Year, an interactive plan for reading, learning, and understanding the Bible. Deepen your faith and impact your walk with God, one day at a time. Bible in a Year, just one of the new interactive Bible study tools at BibleStudyTools.com.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE.
Well, a little Fighting Longhorns song there, Matt. I appreciate you playing that. Tell you what, I've had two daughters at TCU. I went to undergrad at Tech, at Texas, and then law school at Texas Tech. So I was really divided during this Omaha World Series when all three of my teams got in there. I did find myself rooting for TCU when they played Tech. I felt a little bit like a traitor, but at the same time I thought, I paid enough money to TCU. I feel like I can root for them whenever I want to. Of course, football season is just around the corner. That's going to be exciting. Charlie Strong over there. But I digress. I should save the sports for the Sports Angel. And let her talk about it during her show on Saturday. Welcome back to the second segment. I want to remind you that if you'd like to call in and visit, please do at 214-787-1160. I am Brad Parker, and this is Bar Talk. You know, I get a lot of people. We do some mass tort cases, and when I mean mass tort, I mean cases that are usually typically products, either drugs or medical devices, that have a defect in them and have harmed people in some way or some form. And they're either being removed from the market voluntarily or involuntarily, or there's been studies to show that they cause a high incident of a different problem than originally treated. Over the past, I've been involved in pedicle screws, which were cases involving hardware put in your back during spine surgery to help the fusion take place. And I got to tell you, when I was doing those cases, the screws that they would put in your spine look like lag screws that you might use on a storm door to hold it to its hinge. They were horrible looking things. Most recently, I've been involved in the DePuy ASR hip cases, as well as some transvaginal mesh cases. And the most recently, the courts have determined to go ahead and create a MDL, or a multi-district litigation for low-T drugs. This was done earlier this month. And in essence, what the court has done is said, look, anytime an MDL is created, they determine that there'll be one federal court in the country somewhere that will coordinate and move all of the particular cases. For instance, in this case, the low-T cases. That was determined to be in the Northern District of Illinois with U.S. District Judge Matthew F. Kennelly for coordinated trial proceedings. And the reason that we do that is for judicial economy. If you give it some thought for a minute, you can't have a defendant being sued 1,000 different times or 10,000 different times or even 30 or 40,000 different times. Just the depositions alone, not to mention the various discovery that goes in a process being propounded over and over and over again is just not economical or feasible. So what happens is all of these cases are consolidated into one court for purposes of pretrial discovery, such as document production and depositions of the scientist who invented or produced the product, of the marketing department, of all those, so that hopefully the cost is much more streamlined to all of those involved. And then, if the cases do not resolve, the case will be then sent back, typically to its home court, or maybe it'll be tried in the MDL court for a trial. And typically you'll see a number of these cases tried before there ever is any kind of settlement, because nobody really knows what the value of these cases may or may not be. And a lot of times you need a few juries to hear the facts and make some decisions. The bad thing about an MDL is that sometimes these trials will occur across the country and you'll get different results, not based necessarily on the juries that are being determined or picked, but because of different evidentiary rulings during the trial. In other words, a judge at one trial may let in some findings that the FDA made, while on the other hand, another judge may not let some of that stuff in. As far as the low T drugs are concerned, the studies are just coming back right and left that suggest that there's an increased risk of cardiovascular problems, whether you're using the gel, the patch, the injection, implant, or a pill. In fact, back in 2009, as early as 2009, researchers had halted a study that was funded by the National Institutes of Health due to the cardiovascular risks with testosterone products. The study involved over 200 older men with a high prevalence for heart disease, and those receiving that therapy, the low T therapy, were found to have a spike in the rate of heart attacks, which led the researchers to just cancel the project. In other words, the risk was so high that they thought they could not, in good conscience or ethically, continue with this study because they were putting people's lives at risk. Then in November of 2013, the Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, published a report that suggested that men with certain heart problems may be 29% more likely to die or suffer a heart attack or stroke while undergoing testosterone therapy. And so it's because of these studies that people determined to go ahead and start filing lawsuits. One of the things that the studies showed was that, in general, low T has been marketed so widely just because you have low T count or a low testosterone count, which, if you're my age, I'm 54, you're going to have. Every man has it, and it begins to fall after the age of 40. But the studies would suggest that unless it's just unequivocally low, abnormally low, you really don't need low T therapy. It's more of a marketing scam that's been perpetrated on the American public. And so the studies have demonstrated that it's most deadly in men who are over 65 with some type of heart problems. I can get into that more later, or men who are under 45 with various heart problems. If you're in one of those two groups and have been taking a low T drug and have suffered any kind of stroke, heart attack, or if your loved one has even died as a result of that, you probably need to be consulting with an attorney immediately to find out what your legal rights are. Again, this is an MDL type of proceeding, and that means that all of the lawsuits are individual lawsuits. Even though they're all consolidated for the purpose of getting discovery and doing depositions and getting the documents and those types of things, every lawsuit will stand by itself ultimately in making the determination of what the damages are. And that only makes sense because if Mr. A is taking low T with a particular product, is over 65 and has a heart condition and suffers a massive heart attack, his damages are going to be much more significant than Mr. B, who might fit that same mold but had a rather insignificant heart attack. Of course, we always jokingly say an insignificant heart attack is one that someone else has, not you. So, but you see my point in that the damages can be widely different. A class action, which people oftentimes think that these mass tort cases are, is a action where the cases are consolidated again. However, there's just one recovery, and that's because everyone suffered the same harm. And typically you'll see that in a product's case that is not ingested. For instance, there was a computer company a number of years back that had a faulty keyboard that was causing some significant problems with the computer. That became a class action because everybody had a set problem, i.e. the keyboard, for a set price. It could be fixed, whatever that price was, and therefore it could go. Now, the biggest complaint about a class action is people always are complaining that the attorneys make all the fees. But what's wonderful about a class action is that it allows a rather innocuous $100 problem to be prosecuted and fixed. Assume for a moment that you're a big keyboard manufacturer and you're putting out a bad product, but it's only a $50 problem. Well, you don't have much incentive to correct that problem because nobody's going to sue you over it, because nobody can find an attorney who's going to come after you over a $50 problem. The class action is a perfect vehicle. It allows all of the $50 out there, which if you add them up, 50 times 100,000 is a lot of money. And that's the money that the company's making by creating this faulty product. That allows the attorneys to go in and get these problems fixed for a relatively, what's going to cost the company in terms of the fix, relatively not much, but it does cut off their profits to some degree. And that's really why we have class actions, to allow the smaller problems to be fixed. So in any event, keep in mind that the testosterone, the hips, the vaginal mesh, those kinds of mass torts are the MDL, and each one of them is a separate case. I'm going to come back in the third segment, and we're going to talk about some emails that I got and hopefully answer a few questions that have come in. This is Brad Parker. I'm on Bar Talk. You're listening to AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority.
AM KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Join me, Michael Bull, for the Commercial Real Estate Show. Insightful analysis, entertaining discussions, and real estate opportunities. Each week, we focus on topics of interest to business leaders, investors, and advisors. Commercial Real Estate, where America lives, works, shops, and plays. Brought to you by Florida International University, Real Crowd, and Bull Realty. Join us for the Commercial Real Estate Show.
Tune in every Saturday at 8 a.m. on 1160 AM KVCE.
Saturday mornings at 9, tune in for A Bridge to Care and Comfort, discussing caregiver issues and delving into all aspects of hospice care. Hosted by Army veteran Pete Prasad, a loving husband, father, and experienced respiratory care practitioner for 36 years, who has personally experienced the need for hospice care through the loss of his sister to cancer. This year alone, approximately 2.5 million Americans will die, and approximately 3 in 10 will need hospice care for their final weeks or months of life. A Bridge to Care and Comfort explores the emotional, psychological, and spiritual questions, as well as medical and financial ones, surrounding hospice care and caring for elders. Join us Saturday mornings at 9 for a program full of heartfelt, poignant, and humorous stories from families and staff. And most importantly, to learn why hospice care is so important to you, your loved ones, friends, and neighbors. A Bridge to Care and Comfort with Pete Prasad, your resource to compassionate end-of-life services. Saturday mornings at 9 on 1160 AM KVCE or online at kvceradio.com.
In 2011, Phil's Gang introduced the Phil's Gang Talking Trader stock charts with huge success. Now, Phil Grandy and Phil's Gang introduce the Phil's Gang Stock Scanner and Monitor. With the Phil's Gang Stock Scanner and Monitor, you can find top performing stocks, search stocks with money flow, search stocks with and without volume, search patterns, critical stochastic levels, and you can simplify your trades. Your goal is to buy, sell, or short the market. And it comes with an elite dedicated Phil's Gang support team. With the all-new Phil's Gang Scanner and Monitor, you're in control, and you have the peace of mind your stocks are being watched, even when you're away from the computer. For more information on the all-new Phil's Gang PTT3 Stock Scanner and Monitor, please go to philsgang.com. philsgang.com. or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264 today.
When I first got out of law school, I went to work for a big downtown Fort Worth law firm. It was a prestigious job, but I never felt fulfilled professionally helping banks and companies. I didn't have that fulfillment that kind of drove me to be a lawyer to begin with. And the more I saw and learned, the more I realized that maybe being in the big firm wasn't the right thing for me. So after about 5 years, I went out on my own to kind of start doing some personal injury work and some what we call insurance bad faith, because you get the opportunity to help real people. Your efforts and your success makes a difference in their lives. And that is very satisfying and very rewarding to me. And it drives me every morning when I wake up to be able to help people. The rewarding times after a case is settled, the cards I get from clients, just to say, thank you, you made a difference in my life. I never really got that from the CEOs of the banks that I represented. It is truly rewarding to know that you've made a difference in someone's life and you've really helped them out.
Hi, this is Colonel Aaron Evangelisti, Commander of the Air Force Reserve's 433rd Airlift Wing at Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. Military experience can add greatly to your life, as it has mine. The Air Force Reserve locations throughout the region offer positions with excellent training, including the exciting areas of intelligence and cyberspace. I encourage you to start your adventure in the Air Force Reserve by going to afreserve.com or calling 800-257-1212.
Sponsored by the Air Force Reserve, aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
DFW's Business Authority, 1160 AM, KVCE.
You know, hearing that song reminds me of my dad. He always says, that song brings tears to my eyes. I'm going, oh, that's the football schedule they had, Dad. No, but that Tech is a great alma mater of mine as well. I told you earlier, if you don't love college football, I think there's just something wrong with you. And I can't wait for the season to start. See my horns, see my Raiders, and see my frogs. I'm just multi-dimensional. This is Brad Parker again, and this is Bar Talk here on AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority. Call me if you've got a question. I've got some emails that have come in, and I want to talk about them, but call me if you want. We're at 214-787-1160. And if for any reason you can't get in right now or don't have time to call, but you do have a legal question you would like to ask, feel free to call me at my office. My office is 817-503-9200. And if you forget that number, 817-503-9200, you can always look me up on the website, parkerlawfirm.com. And while we're talking about websites, I want to encourage you to go to kvceradio.com. The station's radio. You can see their lineup of guests each weekday and weeknight. We've got a new whole segment of shows that are coming on from Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. And mine happens to be Bar Talk on Wednesday nights. And thank you for being here with me tonight as we talk about different issues. Well, I got an email that I had to bring with me today and visit with you about, because I get this a lot. Insurance companies not wanting to pay for the rental car when someone hits you, they damage your car, and then they don't want to pay for a rental while you're getting your car repaired. I can't tell you how much and how often that happens. And there's just a little rule of thumb that you need to keep in mind. And the first is your car is going to be either totaled. In other words, it's going to cost more to repair than it would be just to pay it off or buy it outright, or it needs repair. And the reason that makes a difference is because how you're treated is going to be dependent upon whether it's totaled or need repair. Now, one thing that people always want to know is I just put, some kind of new engine piece and all of this on my car. It increased the value tremendously when they're trying to determine what the value of a totaled car is. Unfortunately, the law really doesn't let you do that. The test is what would a buyer pay for your car the day before it got hit. And if you can demonstrate and prove that that's what the value of the car would be, then that's what it is. And typically we go to the NADA book or the Texas NADA and look at what the Blue Book values on the vehicle are. And then, of course, you got some negotiation room. But in those situations where your car's been totaled, what you're entitled to is only a rent car during the period of time that it takes for making a determination of whether or not your car is totaled or not. In other words, the wreck happens on Monday. It takes them till Friday or Saturday or maybe even 2 weeks to get it into the shop, make a determination of how much it's going to cost to repair, that it's going to be totaled, and that then they negotiate the price with you. Well, they only have to provide you a rent car up to the time in which they pay off your car or pay you for your car. They'll pay the lien holder if there is one and then give you what's left over. And so it's very important that you see that coming up, because in knowing that once you get that check, that rent car is cut off. And so you need to make arrangements to go get a new car or a different car very, very quickly, because you're going to be without any kind of rental unless you can pay for it yourself. The second situation, of course, is what I talked about, is your car can be repaired. And what I have people call and tell me all the time is that the insurance companies are telling them that the car ought to be repaired sooner. What the law provides is that from the time your car is wrecked until the time the car is repaired, you're entitled to a rent car. Now, that doesn't mean that you can just park it on your front lawn, not get it repaired, and drive around in a nice rental. Yeah, that is not an option for you. But you do have the reasonable option of getting into a body shop of your choice, and to get it repaired at their speed, and get a rental during the entire time. And just because the body shop can't get it repaired as fast as the insurance company may like it, doesn't mean that they're entitled to pull back that rental car from you. You know, unfortunately, the insurance companies, in my opinion, do this to people because they can. They can get away with it because, as an attorney, or really no attorney, can afford to litigate that matter. We'll be spending $1 to beat on a dime. But what you can do, if that happens to you, is sue them in small claims court. I think it's a $10 filing fee and a $50 service fee, and make them come down there and respond to you. Of course, that's not going to cure your immediate problem, but it will get their attention. I promise you that. And you will ultimately, hopefully, prevail and be able to recoup the cost that you had to incur for the rental while your car was being repaired. You know, another question that I got is that, and this is kind of a misconception that a lot of people have. He says, what can I do if a homeowner doesn't have the right insurance coverage for my injuries and medical bills? I got injured by helping a person move some things, and a glass coffee table fell on me, cutting through my forearm and cutting some arteries, nerves, and tendons in his arm. I guess the first issue is that a lot of people believe that when they're on someone else's premises at their home and they get hurt, that automatically insurance is going to take care of them, or that person's homeowner's insurance is going to take care of them. And that's unfortunately just not the case. The law in Texas, we call that premises liability. The law is such that the homeowner has to know or should have known of an obvious danger in the house and that they failed to fix or warn you about. And it's the same way when you go to the store. There's some variances and nuances of that, but in essence, that's it. So you go to the Kroger store or whatever store, and you slip on some water, the grocery store, and you think, well, the grocery store will pay for that. The law doesn't require them to, unless you can prove that the water had been there for a long time and that they knew about it, which typically isn't the case. Most of these stores are very diligent and vigilant about cleaning up spills and doing those kinds of things. So an exception to that sometimes is what we call negligent activity in a premises case. And what that means is that rather than some kind of defect that exists because of a torn step or a concrete sidewalk not meeting city code or something like that, It's that the homeowner or the premise owner or one of their employees is engaged in an activity, and that activity injures you somehow. And so that might be the case where this guy is helping someone move and then a table falls on him. We don't know enough of the facts to know whether or not he could be helped by that or not. But those are basically the two ways that you can oftentimes seek some kind of recovery from a premises deal. Now, the question that he was asking, though, this is the real bummer part, is that how much insurance do they have to have? Well, the easy answer to that is they don't. Although most homes will have insurance because the mortgagee requires it. And so most homeowners' insurance policies may have some kind of what we call med pay that will pay up to $5,000 or $10,000 or maybe even $20,000. No questions asked. That just does because stuff happens. However, above what we call the med pay, you're going to have to prove some kind of negligence or some kind of premises defect. And it's really going to depend on the homeowner and how much coverage they have. What you also have to be careful about is I've got a very tragic case right now where a little girl drowned in her grandmother's swimming pool. And the insurance company is taking the position that they don't have to pay on this claim because the little girl was living with her grandmother, and therefore she was an occupant of the premises, and therefore the policy doesn't apply. Well, I disagree that she was living there, and in fact, I think I can prove that she was actually living with her mother at an apartment. But as you can see, there are all kinds of various issues that might come up in a premise case, even though you think you've got some kind of right or legal recourse. Oftentimes you don't in Texas because of the way the insurance policy might be written or the particular facts. It's not always black and white. And it goes back to what I was saying in my first segment today. If you suffer a traumatic injury, you need to call an attorney, preferably a board-certified attorney, as soon as possible and figure out what your rights are. You can call up here on Wednesdays from 5 to 6 or at my office. My office number is 817-503-9200. We'll be back for the final segment here in just a minute on AM 1160, KVCE, DFW's Business Authority. I'm Brad Parker, and this is Bar Talk.
This is 1160 AM, KVCE. KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's Business Authority.
Tune in weekday mornings at 9 for the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Join us each weekday when we discuss the principles and practices of the successful real estate investor. We bring you experts to answer your questions on how to use real estate to build wealth and passive realized monthly income, and teach you the ins and outs of investing in real estate. So tune in weekday mornings at 9 right here for the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Things I really don't like to talk to other people about, but in this case, well, just hear me out. Hi, this is Jackie Velasquez. As a mom, wife, and singer and radio hostess, I find myself chatting and talking all the time to people. One of the things that is always on my mind is fresh breath. My husband only sees the good in me, but I don't want to give him any reason to change that. So I want to introduce you to TheraBreath. It's all you need when it comes to fresh breath. I love the way it makes me feel. It feels like a deep clean for my mouth, a spa treatment of sorts. I want my kids to kiss me for as long as I can get it. So I'm going to make sure I'm ready with clean teeth and fresh breath. It's fresh breath made simple. Get $10 in coupons when you go to TheraBreath.com/Jackie. That's JACI. TheraBreath.com/Jackie. JACI. TheraBreath products are available at Target, Walgreens, Walmart, Rite Aid, and other fine stores. So go ahead, eat all the onions, all the garlic you want, because TheraBreath has got your back. It's fresh
At
breath.
Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents, or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, principal partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. Our firm knows that when you you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Give us a call, 817-503-9200, or visit parkerlawfirm.com.
I'm TJ. My mom is Basketball Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman. Going to her camp taught me how to play basketball the right way. Tell them, Mom.
Join us at the World Ventures Nancy Lieberman Basketball Camp. We have 4 great sessions this summer at Fieldhouse USA in Frisco. We'll skill, drill, we'll build your confidence and self-esteem. We'll take your game to the next level. Sign up, call 972-473-2121, or go to nancylieberman.com. Brought to you by the Nancy Lieberman and World Ventures Foundation. See you there.
American Leak Detection.
Will, I need help. My water bill looks outrageous, but I haven't been doing anything different. Man, I really think I might have a leak somewhere in my house. The only thing is I live out in West Fort Worth.
Brad, no need to panic. So you live out in Tarrant County? That's why we've got Fred Thompson here for you.
You bet. In American Leak Detection of Fort Worth, we have been finding and repairing concealed leaks for decades now. And me and my guys out here on the western side of the Metroplex are here to do just that for you.
Fred is one of the best, and American Leak Detection has got all of North Texas covered, from Weatherford to Waxahachie or Terrell to Texoma.
This is great. Having American Leak Detection all the way out here in the Fort Worth area to fix the plumbing leaks in my home or pool. I'm so excited. Can I please sing the jingle?
No.
We need to protect our image.
Go to alddfw.com. That's alddfw.com.
American Leak Detection.
From Wall Street to the Metroplex, this is 1160 AM KVCE, Dallas-Fort Worth's business authority.
All right, Matt, I thought you were doing a good job today until you slept that fight song in on me. You better take that down there. Thanks a lot, everybody, for being back. This is Brad Parker. You're with Bar Talk. I welcome you back, and thanks for tuning in this week. We're on AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority. You know, if you can, and you have any questions, we've got about just a few more minutes left. The number here again is 214-787-1160. Or if you can't make the call today, feel free to give me a call at my office anytime. I will try to get back with you as soon as I can. You'll understand if there's a little bit of delay, but we try to, even if we can't help you, we try very, very hard to find someone who can. My office number is 817-503-9200, or my website is parkerlawfirm.com. That's parkerlawfirm.com. I thought I'd take the last few minutes and just wish everybody a nice 4th of July weekend that we have coming up around the corner. You know, 4th of July is such a fun time. You know, it kind of marks the middle of summer, at least for me. And there's always so much to do, grilling, fireworks, boating. But there's always, without fail, serious injury waiting around the corner anytime we have a holiday weekend. And I just want everybody to be really, really careful. My daughter told me last night she's going out to the lake with some friends, and I just implored upon her, do not get in that lake without a life jacket on. Every weekend, it seems like, we hear about someone who was otherwise a strong swimmer, but they got tired, they swallowed a bunch of water, something happened that caused them to go under. And having a life jacket there is just so easy. Please, please, if you get on the lake, get a life jacket and be around you. You know, the other thing that you really want to be careful about, and we all know this, but sometimes we forget, and that's fireworks. You know, I know raising 2 daughters, we'd always have some fireworks, and I'd let them play with the sparklers. But sparklers are very, very dangerous. They get up to about 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, and if you think about that, that's about 6 times hotter than boiling water. You've got to be very, very careful, and obviously, if you're going to have some fireworks, and if you're the person doing it, hold off on the beer until after the fireworks are extinguished. But I got a little fun facts for you, too, and it's about grilling. And I put out a newsletter newsletter every month about a different thing. It's usually something kind of fun, but it's just got some interesting facts and things about it. But this month we had one on grills, and this was kind of amazing to me. There are 14 million grills that were sold in 2013 alone. That's a lot of grilling, folks. Obviously, June, July, and August are the peak months. But if you're like me, you probably grill year round. The thing that was kind of interesting too, according to this survey that was done, 25% of the grillers are women. I wouldn't have thought it would be that high. Maybe that's just a chauvinistic part of me, but I didn't realize that. That's kind of interesting. But here's the bad thing, and here's what you need to be very, very careful of. There are approximately 8,800 grill-related fires and injuries every single year. Typically, you can expect about 10 to 12 deaths a year and about 140 injuries and about a $96 million tab on damage, property damage every year. These grills can be like bombs. If the flame blows out and the propane is still going and you go up there and try to light it again, it could ignite, could cause some serious damage. So just be careful. Keep your guard up. I think it's always more dangerous. The more people that are around, we always seem to think and tend to think, the more safe it is in the swimming pool and on the lake because we got more eyes watching. I think it's been my experience, though, the more people that are around, the more likely somebody is to get hurt because everybody thinks everybody else is watching or that nothing bad can happen. So anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful time on the 4th of July. I'm going to sneak out for a little time and get away and probably drink an umbrella drink or something like that if I can do that. Again, I want to encourage anybody and everybody to give us a call up here. Next week we'll be here again, 5 to 6 for Bar Talk. We will also, if you can't call in during the radio program, I encourage you and invite you to talk in and call in with your questions. Either call me on my telephone at the office, 817-503-9200, or you can certainly feel free to look me up on the website, parkerlawfirm.com. And if you haven't noticed the format changing up here at KVCE during the weeknights from 5 to 6, I want to encourage you to listen. This is DFW's Business Authority, and beginning here shortly, there's going to be new programming every night from 5 to 6 on different professionals and business folks talking about their crafts. Tonight was me. Tomorrow night we have the Family Law Hour with Frank and Donna. So if you've got any kind of family law questions that you might have or you need answered, they are great lawyers, and I'd encourage you to call in and visit with them and get your questions asked. On Friday, we're going to have a program called Money Matters. I believe it starts it may start this Friday. I apologize. It has been going on. I apologize. So that's coming up next or this week. So be sure and tune into those stations and support them. Again, I want to encourage you to give me a call at my office, 817-503-9200, or get on my website and take a look at parkerlawfirm.com. Also, I'd encourage you to get on to kvceradio.com. Their website has the websites and more information about all of the hosts of the different programs that play. You can go on there and find more about me and Frank and Donna and Money Matters and everybody. The last thing I want to talk to you about real quickly is, again, be careful out there. It's going to be a lot of fun coming up. We're going to have a lot of folks out and about and around, And I would like nothing more than going to the office on Monday morning and not having one single call or reading in the paper about one single incident that happened to anybody over the weekend. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to Bar Talk with me, Brad Parker. I'm the attorney you want, but hope you never need. Continue to listen to us now. We're going to have the Bloomberg Hour coming up next from 6 to 7. And I think that may even extend an extra hour, 7 to 8 as well. 8 to 9. I apologize. Thank you for keeping me straight back there, Matt. I also want to thank Matt. He's been a great producer. He helps me come through and get things going. He did slip in that A&M fight song, and I'm going to have to get him straight on that and talk to him about not doing that anymore. But again, Brad Parker, this has been Bar Talk. Thank you for tuning in to AM 1160 KVCE, DFW's Business Authority.
Thanks for joining us for Bar Talk with local trial lawyer Brad Parker, the attorney you hope you never need. Join us again next week when you, the listener, can become more educated about your legal rights and your 7th Amendment right to a civil justice system. Until then, if you are in need of legal advice or services, contact local attorney Brad Parker at 817-503-9200 or on his website at parkerlawfirm.com.
1160 AM KVCE.
At Parker Law Firm, people matter. We have an unwavering commitment to people who have been seriously harmed by the negligence or wrongdoing of others. Our practice focuses on those who have been killed or seriously injured in major trucking or car accidents or whose lives have been seriously disrupted by the bad faith conduct of an insurance company.
Hi, I'm Brad Parker, principal partner at Parker Law Firm. I'm board certified in personal injury trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I'm also the immediate past president of the Texas Trial Lawyers Association. Our firm knows that when you or a loved one has been seriously injured in an accident caused by another person's negligence, you may not know where to go or who to trust. Our firm is built on years of trial experience, a tradition of personal service, and a reputation for zealous representation of our clients. We're dedicated to providing experienced and comprehensive legal assistance to individuals and their families during their times of need.
Let the attorneys from Parker Law Firm help you. Get a free consultation. Give us a call, 817-503-9200, or visit parkerlawfirm.com.